Imagine waking up one day and realizing your entire life might be a lie. Memories vanish, loved ones turn into strangers, and nothing makes sense. That's Forgotten, one of the most underrated psychological thrillers to ever come out of Korea, and trust me, you are not ready for the twist. The story starts with a young man named Jin Seok, who wakes up from a nightmare. He's in a car with his parents and older brother Seok as they move into a new house. Jin Seok seems uneasy, but things otherwise look normal. When they arrive, Jin feels like he's seen the house before, even though he hasn't. We learn that his brother Seok is smart, talented, and the golden child, great at sports, popular, and a top student from a top university. He doesn't drink or smoke and is the perfect older brother in Jin's eyes. A year earlier, Seok had a car accident and now walks with a limp, but to Jin and their parents, he's still a hero. As they begin to settle in, Jin notices one room is locked, the one Seok was supposed to have. The old owner hadn't cleared it out and had asked them not to go in, so both brothers end up sharing a room. Later, while having dinner, Jin hears noises from the room above that was locked, but his family brushes it off, saying it's just thunder. That night, he again hears the noise coming from the locked room. When Jin tries to check the room, Seok stops him and instead takes him outside for a walk, thinking he's just stress. While they're out, Seok gets a phone call from their dad and tells Jin to wait on a hill. On his way back home, Seok is suddenly kidnapped by a group of strangers in a van. Jin tries to chase the van and memorizes the license plate. Shocked, he runs home, tells his parents, and faints. That night, he dreams of someone being interrogated. When he wakes up, he's lying next to his parents and feeling disoriented. The family calls police in the house, and after they arrive, Jin gives them the license plate number, but they say that plate doesn't exist. The police thinks it's hallucination as they ask if he's on anxiety medication. 2 weeks pass with no updates. Jin has nightmares, headaches, and starts to lose touch with reality. Then, 19 days later, Seok suddenly returns, unharmed. He says he doesn't remember anything from those days. The family is relieved, but Jin starts noticing odd things like how Seok used to limp on his left leg, but now it's the right. At first, he ignores it. Later that night, Jin follows his brother as he's more suspicious of his brother due to his recent behavioral changes, and when Jin follows Seok, he sees him walking completely normally. He secretly follows him in a taxi and is shocked to see him meeting with the same cops who visited their home. Even more surprising, they're calling Seok boss. Jin gets caught and knocked out. The next morning, he wakes up at his desk, confused but sure of what he saw. He tries to confront Seok, but Seok pins him down and insists it was just a dream. He asks if Jin took his medicine yesterday, and Jin suddenly remembers that he didn't, because it fell under the cabinet. Feeling guilty, Jin apologizes to Seok, takes his medication, and wonders if he imagined it all. But then he picks up his mechanical pencil and finds the broken piece of lead that fell out the night before. That proves it wasn't a dream. He also realizes he never told anyone about the taxi, yet his brother knew. Now convinced something is seriously wrong, Jin tells his mother and urges her to help follow Seok if he leaves again. Later, he overhears a strange conversation between his mom and Seok. That confirms his suspicion they're not his real family. Scared and injured, Jin runs away, but they try to stop him. Jin somehow manages to reach the police station. There, the truth begins to come out. The police check their records and say Jin was born in 1977, meaning he's 41, but Jin insists he's only 21. Looking around, he sees smartphones and news reports that prove it's actually the year 2017. After that, when he sees his reflection, he realizes his whole life was a lie. Then, he returns to the house to find answers. In the locked room, he hears music and finds a mannequin covered in blood. Seok then appears and reveals the truth. He's not Jin's brother, but an investigator hired by the family of a murder victim. The story flashes back 20 years. A mother and daughter were murdered, and the case went cold. Years later, the victim's family hired a private team to find the killer, leading them to Jin. He had been kidnapped and tortured for a confession, but he had no memory of the crime. A specialist diagnosed him with dissociative amnesia condition that blocks out traumatic memories. So to bring back his memory, the investigators comes up with a plan to recreate his life when he was happy and hadn't dealt with traumatic event. The hypnosis expert, investigator, and a woman who is hired to be his mom becomes his fake family members and takes him to the same house where that event occurred. But even then, Jin didn't remember anything until he tried to escape and was hit by a van. That's when the scene jumps back to May 1997. Back then, when Jin really was 21, living with his real family. A car accident killed his parents and left his brother in a coma. Despite looking for jobs everywhere, he was unable to find a job. Desperate for money for his brother's surgery, Jin accepted a job offer to kill a woman, but there was a condition, which was to only kill women and not to harm the two kids. Despite hesitation, Jin goes to the house to get the job done. He enters the house, but changed his mind after seeing the mother and son asleep. As he tried to leave, the mother saw him. He told her he wasn't going to hurt anyone. But when the daughter woke up and saw a knife in his hand, she screamed. Jin panicked and accidentally stabbed her. Then he stabbed the mother too, but he spares the young son, who had seen everything. However, as Jin was leaving the scene, he saw a photo. It was the picture of the same doctor who was treating his brother. Horrified, Jin goes to the hospital to confront the doctor, who just received the devastating news of his wife and as well as daughter murder through his younger son. Furious, the doctor attacked Jin and admitted he'd arranged the murder to collect insurance money to save his family. But during the physical altercation, doctor accidentally fell and died. The scene shifts back in the present, where Jin was hospitalized after the van hit him while trying to escape from the investigator. There, the investigator was waiting for him to open his eyes. He brought a poison to inject Jin to take revenge, as the man who pretended to be his brother was a grown son Jin had spared. But Jin, who has now regained all his memories, calmly says, "Tell the victim's family I'm sorry." After hearing Jin's apology, the boy breaks down and says he often wished Jin had killed him too. It would have saved him from a lifetime of suffering. After his whole family's death, he was sent to an orphanage, while his relatives took all the family's money. He then asks Jin if it's true that his father planned the murder, but Jin, filled with guilt, takes full responsibility and says nothing. After Jin continues to apologize, he takes it as a truth. Overwhelmed by the long-time grief and suffering, he jumps out of the hospital window, ending his life. On the other hand, after regaining his memory, Jin, with guilt, kills himself with the poison that Yuseok brought. The film ends on a tragic note filled with sorrow, loss, and the haunting question: if someone forgets their sins, are they still guilty? What do you guys think? Comment below.